It's another day. I want to welcome you to African Mom's World, and today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic. If you did not watch the previous video, it was a general introduction on my experience on raising chicken. Today we are going to talk about equipment or generally requirements that you need to put in place before you can start keeping the chicken. If you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe to African Mom's World. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for being with us. If you have any comment, please leave the comment in the comment section below. Like, share. If you have not subscribed, kindly do so. We are going to talk about feeders. And interestingly, the feeders come in very beautiful colors. Most of them red. I think this is just to attract the chicks. So initially we bought this feeder, and it's nice because it has around, it can feed around 24 chicks at the same time. However, when the chicks were very small, we realized that they could not be able to use this feeder. They are too small for them to be able to even notice that these are the holes they're supposed to use. So it reached a point in which we had to improvise, and we used actually leads from anything. This was a lead from a honey jar, and the birds were able to, the chicks actually were able to eat from this. When they grew a little bigger, we used a plate because they could not differentiate what the sawdust was and what the feeds were. At one point we also used this bigger lid so that they could be able to use more of them. Yeah, now the chicks are just stubborn there. The chicken, they are running all over thinking I've given them food. But as they grew bigger, we were able to purchase this one and that one. This is just the plastic version, which has compartments, yeah, as you can see. And this one doesn't have compartments, it's a metal one, but this other one is plastic. So this cost us 550, while this one cost 650. And the smaller one, this one, cost 250. So when purchasing feeders, it is good to note that you don't have to go too much on the feeders, because it will reach a point when you can also, you will need to you will need to improvise depending on how the chicks and the chickens are growing and how they are able to adjust. Yeah, so these ones are all grown. That's why they are making noise and following me everywhere, thinking it is time for food. Look at another one wanting to jump on me. Just like there are so many different types of feeders in the market, so they are with the drinkers. So this is one of them. We purchased this for 250 Kenya shillings, but we were not able to use it immediately because the chicks were not able to reach where the water was, so we had to improvise something smaller. This is actually what we used when they were smaller. In the first 1 week, we took some of these leads from, we had some honey jars. So this lead came in handy and they were able to drink. But we kept changing them because they would even poop inside. So we had to keep changing the water. But it worked. So after this is when we were able to use this one, as I have just described. Then when they grew bigger, they were able now to use this bigger one. You can see this holds a lot of water, actually about 2.5 liters. So they were able to use this. But keeping on changing the water is also another challenge, because they drink and they make it so dirty. So it is not easy for you to change unless you have to remove all the water. No. So you will also need some form of heat, whether it's going to be electricity or solar, meaning you'll have to put on some light. In my case, we did not raise them in where there was electricity, so we used a pot, an earthen pot. We just bought a pot at 350 Kenya shillings, which I will write below how much that is in a dollar. So the pot, as you can see, has holes to help it continue to burn. Even the lid also has, and that's how it looks inside. So lighting, we lighted it using some pieces of wood, chips of wood, and that's where the charcoal would be. But we also realized that the chicks wanted to be close to each other. They were always in a lump in some corner. But when we put in this pot, they would move closer to the pot so that they can get some heat. So the more the number of chicks you have, the more the number of pots you'd need. From the 100 chicks, I realized that having 2 is enough, but once the pot is used to being lit, it retains a lot of heat for some time. So the first week we would actually wake up and find that the fire went out, so we'd have to light it again. But after a week, it could retain a lot of heat. So we'd light it from around 8 p.m. and by 10 in the morning it would still be having some warmth. So we also realized that after lighting it, you can take some of the ash and put it on top of the lit charcoal. So this would retain a lot of heat, and it made it more cost effective. So I would actually recommend this type of a pot because it is cheap. One, it is cheap, it's 350 Kenya shillings. And if you take care of it, it doesn't break easily. Then when the chicks are bigger, you actually don't even need the pot because they are feathers and they are able to take care of themselves. So when you buy the pot, remember you have charcoal. And where I stay, we bought charcoal, 1 sack at 180, no, it's 1,800 Kenya shillings. And we did not even use all of it because we lit the fire for about 1.5 months, and that took us about half the sack. So when you buy charcoal, remember that it needs to be, it's on and off season, so you need to make proper arrangements. And then also for us, there was a cost on transportation. So those are some of the things that you need to consider when keeping chicken, because warmth is a very important part of raising chicks, because the weather, if it becomes very cold, the birds could easily die. And let me not forget that this raising of the pot is important because the chicks could easily come so close and they could get burnt. Though we did not have such an experience, but we realized it can actually get hot. That's why we always kept it on a stone, or let's call it a raised position. You also need to decide which sort of system you're going to use to keep your chicken. For us, we kept them indoors and we used the deep litter system, meaning that we needed to have sawdust all the time. And we used 2 sacks each month. Each sack cost 200 Kenya shillings, that is $2. So I think briefly those are some of the requirements you need when you're preparing to start chicken farming. And it has been a good journey from what we have used. I hope you have learned something. We will learn more in the episodes to come. So see you in the next one.